morning. Welcome back to Breakfast Television. Now, we're looking at a pretty easygoing start to your morning commute. And I have some good news off the top from the eastbound 401. We have all express lanes now reopened between Meadowvale and Port Union following an earlier well, not earlier. It was, yes, the crash happened yesterday. The cleanup happened all throughout the night and into the morning. So that's what happened. All lanes have reopened through this stretch, and it didn't really cause much of a backup. We are looking at this problem, though, which is definitely causing a backup. This is the eastbound Gardiner at Jarvis, where we have a right lane blocked with a very large pothole, apparently affecting about 7 vehicles. So we have emergency crews, and it looks like Toronto Transportation on the scene. The eastbound Gardiner, as a result, is pretty solid from the Humber Bridge heading all the way in towards downtown. So it's a very, very slow drive. I would definitely suggest that you take Lakeshore instead. But do keep in mind that the eastbound Lakeshore ramp to the eastbound Gardiner at Jarvis, the ramp lane is blocked by a stalled vehicle. So that's what we have going on right now. A couple of issues here and there, but not too bad for the rest of our major routes. You'll find things moving pretty much at the limit. Has your child suffered from bullying? Listen to Dattitude, a parenting podcast made by dads who tackle all types of parenting challenges. Visit globalstorynetwork.com. That's a look at your drive, and we're going to send things over to Frankie for a look at that forecast.
Some slick conditions out there this morning. You can see some of the roads through the downtown core on the wet side as temperatures are above that freezing mark. Over through Milton, though, right now, we are seeing some flurry activity pushing its way through, seeing some of that pushed its way through already through Caledon. We do have some accumulating snowfall that happened through the overnight period up through northern portions of York Region this morning. You could see a little bit of some tricky road conditions as well along the 404, so just be aware. Temperatures, as I mentioned, were just above that freezing mark. Toronto, Hamilton, Niagara Falls sits at 2, -1 up through Muskoka, 2 degrees as we take a look into Windsor. We have -11 in Ottawa. This week's a little bit of up, down, and all around. So today we're above seasonal, daytime high of 2 degrees, staying above seasonal, 3 degrees, mainly overcast skies on your Tuesday. And then we'll be right around seasonal on Wednesday at -2. But by the time we hit Friday, daytime highs could go all the way up to 8 degrees. This afternoon should make you aware, strong westerly wind, 30 to 50 kilometers per hour. That's a look at your next 3 days weather-wise. Now on to your Monday news with Mel.
Thank you, Frank. Well, less than a week into the new year, and already 2 pedestrians have been killed in the GTA, both of them hit and runs. First in Brampton, a 16-year-old girl struck and killed early yesterday morning near Gore Road and Queen. She has been identified as Diana Manin. Rushed to hospital, but later succumbed to her injuries. Police say the driver fled. So far, there is no description of a suspect released. This was the first pedestrian fatality of the year in Peel Region. And then in Toronto, a 65-year-old man died in a hit-and-run near Jarvis and Gerrard. He was rushed to hospital in critical condition after being struck late Saturday night, and later died. Again, the driver fled the scene here. No suspect description has been released. It is the first pedestrian fatality on Toronto streets this year. Both Toronto and Peel police are peeling for anyone who may have information or perhaps dash cam video to contact them or Crime Stoppers. Millions of Iranians have lined the streets in Tehran for the funeral for slain Iranian military commander Qasem Soleimani, killed Friday in a U.S.-led drone strike. And ahead of the procession, the country's supreme leader Ayatollah Khamenei praying over the remains. Outside in the streets, scenes like this, crowds chanting "Death to America" as the convoy made its way along the route. Iran says it will avenge the killing. Soleimani was seen by many as a national hero, the U.S. viewing him as otherwise, calling him a terrorist who is plotting further attacks against American targets. Soleimani will eventually be buried in his hometown in the central part of the country. And while Iran vows revenge, President Trump responded on Twitter saying these media posts will serve as notification to the United States Congress that should Iran strike any U.S. person or target, the United States will quickly, fully strike back, perhaps in a disproportionate manner. Such legal notice is not required, but is given nonetheless.